Good morning, and we are in chapter 5 of Mormon, and we're just going to get into it. So, Mormon had refused to go against with people because they were blaspheming God, basically. Even though it seems a little bit to do with how they weren't listening to him anyway, but it was definitely because they blasphemed and would swore an oath to kill the Lamanites by everything that was sacred, and those things that Christ had forbid them to do, and yet they still did it. And so he says, you know what, that's it. I can't do this anymore. So he doesn't. He had preached to them. He had done everything he could. He prepared them for success, actually, by strengthening up their defenses in Desolation and other places, and was able to protect them because of the narrow neck of land that he built up the defenses on. But they were a bit stupid and went against that and said, you know what, we're going to attack them, and it didn't work out. So that was a recap. But now, after quite a few years, it says, and it came to pass that I did go forth among the Nephites, and did repent of the oath which I had made, and that I would no more assist them, and they gave me command again of their armies. I believe this is between 65 and 69 years old. 65, 70, let's say 65, 70 years old. So he's not a young man anymore. He's had loads of experience. He's probably the most experienced of all of them. And it doesn't seem like he's too fragile either. He seems to be able to hold his own. For they looked upon me as though I would deliver them from their afflictions. Isn't it interesting? Here he had a way of delivering them. He taught them that they needed to repent, and yet they rejected that, but they still thought, well, maybe he can still deliver us from our afflictions. But behold, I was without hope, for I knew the judgments of the Lord which should come upon them, for they repented not of their iniquities, but did struggle for their lives without calling upon the being who created them. And it came to pass the Lamanites did come against us, and as we fled to the city of Jordan, but behold, they were driven back, and they did not take the city at that time. And it came to pass that they came against us again, and we did maintain the city. And there were also other cities which were maintained by the Nephites, which strongholds did cut them off, that they could not get into the country which lay before us, to destroy the inhabitants of our land. So they built this line and said, okay, we're going to hold this line. We're not going to let them get past here, or they'll destroy everything and beyond us. But it came to pass that whatsoever lands we had passed by, and the inhabitants thereof were not gathered in, were destroyed by the Lamanites, and their towns and their villages and their cities were burned with fire. And thus 379 years had passed away. And it came to pass that in the 380th year, the Lamanites did come again against us to battle, and we did stand against them boldly, but it was all in vain. For so great were the numbers that they did tread the people of the Nephites under their feet. And it came to pass that we did again take to flight, and those whose flight were swifter than the Lamanites did escape, and those whose flight did not exceed the Lamanites were swept down and destroyed. Now behold, I, Mormon, do not desire to harrow up the souls of men in casting before them such an awful scene of blood and carnage, which as was laid before mine eyes. But I knowing that these things must surely be made known, and that all things which are hid must be revealed upon the housetops, and also that a knowledge of these things must come unto the remnant of these people, and also unto the Gentiles, who the Lord hath said should scatter this people. Now he's going back to almost the same prophecies that Jesus had given the people when he I think on the second day or third day of his visit, second day. And this people should be counted as not among them, that's among the Gentiles who should scatter them. And therefore I write a small abridgment, daring not to give a full account of the things which I had seen, because of the commandment I received, meaning that he needs to give an account, but these are for spiritual things on these plates as well, and also that ye might not have too great sorrow because of the wickedness of this people. He really does not want us to have to feel the things that he does. He's not glorying in this. He cannot. You can hear the ache and pain in his voice sometimes when he speaks. When he writes, I guess. I don't know if you ever get this, but sometimes it does speak to you. You can hear it. And now behold, I speak unto their seed, and also the Gentiles, who have care for the house of Israel, that realize and know from whence their blessings come. Isn't that beautiful? So that he's telling them so that they may know of the things that are going on, and he's speaking to us as either the house of Israel or the Gentiles, that realize and know from whence their blessings come. For I know that such will sorrow for the calamity of the house of Israel. Yea, they will sorrow for the destruction of this people. And they will sorrow that this people had not repented, that they might have been clasped in the arms of Jesus. It is really hard stuff here that we are reading, and it is difficult, but hopefully we are learning from these things as well. Now these things are written unto the remnant of the house of Jacob, these things meaning the Book of Mormon, of course, and they are written after this manner, because it is known of God that wickedness will not bring them forth unto them. So it's important to know how important this record is to God, and that he would not let any wickedness bring him forth. And they are hid up unto the Lord, that they may come forth in his own due time. This is the commandment which I have received, and behold, they shall come forth according to the commandment of the Lord, when he shall see fit in his wisdom. And behold, they shall go unto the unbelieving of the Jews, and for this intent they shall go, that they may be persuaded that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of the living God, that the Father may bring about, through his most beloved, his great and eternal purposes. Oh, isn't that beautiful language? He wants the Jews to know that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of the living Father, and that the Father may bring through his most beloved his great and eternal purpose. I just, I don't know. I don't. Let's just read on, because it's just beautiful the way he sees things, even in these dark days that he lives, in restoring the Jews, or all the house of Israel, to the land of their inheritance, which the Lord their God hath given them, unto the fulfilling of his covenant. And also that the seed of this people may more fully believe his gospel, which shall go forth unto them from the Gentiles, for this people shall be scattered, and become a dark and filthy and loathsome people beyond description of that which ever hath been amongst us, yea, even that which hath been among the Lamanites, and this because of their unbelief and idolatry. For behold, the Spirit of the Lord hath already ceased to strive with their fathers, and they are without Christ in God in the world, and they are driven about as chaff before the wind. They were once a delightsome people, and they had Christ for their shepherd. Yea, they were led even by God the Father. But now, behold, they are led about by Satan, even as chaff is driven before the wind, or as a vessel tossed about upon the waves, without sail or anchor, or without anything wherewith to steer her. And even as she is, so are they. Behold, the Lord hath reserved their blessings, that they might have, which they might have. Okay, let me read that again, because I really like this verse. Behold, the Lord hath reserved their blessings, which they might have received in the land, for the Gentiles who shall possess the land. So all those blessings that they could have seen if they just listened to Mormon will be reserved for the Gentiles. I don't think the Gentiles have it easy, because they need to come to the Lord as well. But behold, it shall come to pass that they shall be driven and scattered by the Gentiles, and after they have been driven and scattered by the Gentiles, behold, then will the Lord remember the covenant which he made unto Abraham, unto all the house of Israel. And this is happening. That's the whole thing, is it's happening. It's been happening for 150 years, almost 200 years, that he has remembered his covenant and is bringing back these people, the ancestors of the Lamanites. And the Lord will remember the prayers of the righteous, which have been put unto him for them. I don't know if you can feel the power of this, but the prayers of the righteous, which have been put unto him for them, that can be today. It can also go clear back to Lehi and Nephi. I really find it interesting that Lehi receives a blessing of, this will be, in the last days you will see your seed receive these things, and the covenant of the Lord will be there. And remember all those prayers. The Lord has no reason for time as much as we do. He can take a prayer that was given 3,000 years ago and answer it on the people's heads as he wishes. And it's interesting. And you think of all the prayers of the righteous Nephi, Lehi, Jacob, Enos, Alma, all of these prayed for this. Then, O ye Gentiles, how can ye stand before the power of God, except ye shall repent and turn from your evil ways? Know ye not ye are in the hands of God? He's speaking directly to us now. Remember, we're part of this book. This is him breaking that fourth wall, basically, and looking at us and saying, Know ye not that he hath all power, and at his great command the earth shall be rolled together as a scroll? Therefore repent ye and humble yourselves before him, lest he shall come out of justice against you, lest a remnant of the seed of Jacob shall go forth among you as a lion, and tear you in pieces, and there is none to deliver. Now, this is almost exactly what Christ quoted to the Nephites in the land bountiful. And often we see it as more just going as missionary work and going out and being as a lion among the lambs of preaching the gospel and having the Spirit with. And that's true. But in this incident, when you're reading about the Lamanites treading down the Nephites and destroying them, is there any doubt that Mormon is saying, if we don't repent, a seed of Jacob shall go forth among the line? And they don't have to be the righteous seed of Jacob at this time. It's a promise. Look at what happened with the Lamanites and Nephites. Neither one of them were righteous. But because the Nephites had the chance to repent and they didn't, they were destroyed by the Lamanites. I'm not trying to say, this is put any big rhetoric on this. I would rather think about missionaries going out and converting people left and right and being able to have the Spirit to tear down all those false doctrines, which is happening. But if people don't repent, there will be these things, and we're seeing it with the wars in the Middle East. It's just going to happen that way if we don't repent. And it can be more than that. I don't want to get political. All I want to do is say, if what he says has harrowed up our imagination of what happened then, think of what's going to happen now if we don't repent and we don't become look and see the Lord in our lives. He's given us these scriptures, and the great thing is he's given us and showed us that God hath all power. And I hope as you go throughout your day today, no matter where you are, if you are experiencing horrible things in your life, look to God as Mormon does and know that God hath all power, and he will be the one that helps you out in your hardest times. And with that, I hope you have a nice day, and we'll see you tomorrow.